Yo, what's up? It's Jack. Today I'm reacting to TikToks all about the simulation theory. Let's go!
What you're seeing here is not real. This is not some drone footage of some random city. This is footage of me flying through the recently released Unreal 5 Matrix tech demo. This playable demo serves as a showcase of Unreal 5's next-gen capabilities, and it's truly mind-blowing. The uncanny valley in this demo is very shallow, and its visual realism alone is unsurpassed. Let's dive into it a little and see why. I'd say there's probably two reasons that this looks so realistic. One, the asset quality is top-notch. The artists who built this environment knew exactly what they were doing. They likely utilized every bit of the latest and greatest in Quixel megascans and photogrammetry that they could to ensure maximum realism. But I'd say the bigger reason why this looks so good is Unreal 5's lighting system Lumen, which is a software-based real-time global illumination solution. Basically, light in this demo behaves exactly as it would in our real world. Look at the reflections of this car, for example. You can see everything in it. It's not just reflection probes and screen space effects. This is the real deal. Look at how the red of this car is bouncing and diffusing onto the character here. Look at this column. Notice how light is bouncing onto it when the sunlight is near it, then goes.
What this is demonstrating is how fast graphics are changing in video games, how great they're really getting. What this means for us on this channel, for the simulation theory, checking it out, is that ain't going to be that long before this is even better. It's only going to get better, right? So this Unreal Engine 5 graphics system, imagine in 20 years how realistic it's going to look. It's going to look motherfudging grand. And so you can then assume at that rate of improvement that it's currently going through, in 10, 20 years, it will be photorealistic. It will look like this world. Maybe a bit longer, maybe 40 years, 50 years, not long. And it will be photorealistic, and it will be in virtual reality. And so therefore, the next simulation will be here, and we'll be able to live inside it in the next 50 years. We'll play Call of Duty in virtual reality with photorealistic graphics and haptic feedback suits.
Tell me something you discovered about Matrix that is scary and profound at the same time without telling.
Cities oddly resemble circuit boards. There is a binary code written into string theory that is the theory of everything, and what we use it for in computers is to fix errors on its own. The television programs us much like school does. We are programmable like computers. Indoctrination camps like school exists, and what they do is they convert you to be how society wants you to be. We control our avatars or our video game characters through things like manifestation. The mind is so powerful that it can actually heal. Look at the placebo effect. Yeah. Physics completely breaks down on a quantum level. Quantum physics to me is basically like trying to look at individual pixels on a computer screen.
Never thought of it like that before.
The world is not as it seems in real life.
I like this guy's shirt. It's got stars on his shirt. That's pretty cool.
It's scarier than your craziest dreams.
Not crazier than my bloody dreams, that's all.
Guys, watch this.
Jesus, no! No!
Why are you pointing?
No! We've already been heisted! How can Heistetron heist us if he's not even here yet?
This is so annoying. It's a video of a video of a video on a laptop of a video of Rick and Morty, which is the simulation theory episode where, you know, they kept trapped inside simulations by an evil alien overlord. I'm not going to watch it because the quality is shit.
Generally, you want education to be like as close to a video game as possible, like a good video game. Like, you do not need to tell your kid to play video games. They will play video games on autopilot all day. So if you can make it interactive and engaging, then you can make education far more compelling and far easier to do. So you really want to disconnect the whole grade level thing from the subjects. Allow people to progress at the fastest pace that they can.
This is the interesting point, right? What Elon Musk is saying is you need to make education like video games. Now, why am I watching this and showing it to you? Because I think in the future, when we have simulations, in the not too distant future, I think schools will be done through simulations. And you will be able to, let's say, for instance, you want to be a plumber. Rather than going to college and learning the plumbing, you'll do it at home inside simulations. You will go and fix things, and you'll do it through video games, which will be made to be as fun as possible. By making things as fun as possible, what you're doing is you're getting people to want to learn. You need kids to want to play these games. You want kids to play education. because then they're going to want to do it. I remember being at school, it was rubbish, it was boring. Sitting there with textbooks going, memorise this. Shit. And so I think Elon Musk is absolutely right. Make education and learning like video games as much as possible.
Or are interested in each subject. It seems like a really obvious thing.
Suppose you're God.
Alan Watts?
Suppose you have all time, all eternity, and all power at your disposal. What would you do? I believe you'd say to yourself after a while, man, get lost. Suppose you're...
It's entirely possible that
This is basically how my brain is 24/7. Yes.
The moment you recognize at your core you are the universe experiencing itself from one specific perspective, and everyone you've ever met or will meet is also you. Every act of love becomes an act of self-love, and that's the feeling you've been searching for your entire life.
I've said a very similar thing myself recently on the You Are God episode, where I basically say that you are God, experiencing it itself subjectively inside simulations, inside simulations, inside simulations, ad infra bloody natum, and you are everyone. I am you and you are me, and we are experiencing ourselves subjectively. Watch that video.
A young man on acid realized that all
Bill Hicks, my most favourite comedian of all time, right next to George Carlin.
matter is merely energy condensed to a slow vibration, that we are all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. There is no such thing as death. Life is only a dream, and we're the imagination of ourselves.
What a genius. That bit and the other bit where he talks about life is just a ride. Two of the most formative bits of stand-up comedy I've ever seen. Partly what inspired me to become a stand-up. Although I've only done it about 30 times, stand-up comedy. I will get back into it one day, but I prefer to have an audience first.
My metaphysics, let me be perfectly frank with you, are that there is the central self. You can call it God, you can call it anything you like. And it's all of us. It's playing all the parts of all beings whatsoever, everywhere and anywhere. And it's playing the game of hide and seek with itself. It gets lost, it gets involved in the farthest out adventures, but in the end, it always wakes up and comes back to itself. And when you're ready to wake up, you're going to wake up. And if you're not ready, you're going to stay pretending that you're just a little, poor little me. And since you're all here and engaged in this sort of inquiry and listening to this sort of lecture, I assume that you're all on the process of waking up.
Couldn't put it much better myself. What a guy. One of my favourite guys, Alan Watts. I still listen to some of his long 2-hour lectures. It's just filled with absolute wisdom you don't really get these days. Except from me, of course.
So my favorite little mind hack to see problems in a new light.
God, look at this guy. Ooh, I think I'm Jesus Christ.
Is to think that I'm a character in a video game. And so these problems are actually quests or journeys, so to speak. And I am the quote-unquote hero of the journey. I am the protagonist of my own story. So instead of seeing them as problems and as massive things and myself as the victim, I try instead to reframe that as, again, this journey or quest that I, the protagonist, get to go on in this expansive MMORPG game called life. And that makes them a lot more processable and a lot easier to overcome in the long run.
This is one of my things. I do think that we're living inside an MMORPG. We just call it life. And it's immersive because we pass through a veil of amnesia, or as the Buddhists say, a river of forgetfulness when we enter into this world. Why? I'm not sure. I'd hazard a guess as the way that Alan Watts would put it, which is to say, you are God, and you're playing the game of losing yourself and finding yourself. It's like a giant cosmic game of hide and seek. And maybe the purpose is to get back as close to your true self as possible. And some people are going that way down the spiral, and some people are going up this way on the spiral. If you're watching this video, you're probably in the right direction. But again, go up a level. We're all the same thing. We're all still God. Going that way or going that way, we're still the same thing. Going around an infinite spiral of consciousness inside video games. And it's true, problems are the currency of life inside this video game. Without problems, it makes this life pretty damn boring. That's why people enter simulation. In the reality above this one, that's why they entered. That's why they're playing as us. To have as many problems as possible, because problems are fun. Problems are a currency, and problems are the quests.
I don't know how much value I have in this universe, but I do know that I made a few people happier than they would have been without me. And as long as I know that, I'm as rich as I ever need to be.
I love him. Robin Williams. Classic.
They, whoever they are, don't stand a chance because they can't beat love. Because all those old bits from religion and that about love being all-powerful is true, you know. And that's the bit they can't do. You know, they can't handle it.
All you need is love.
I don't want to be a bitch, but you guys are really boring.
That's how I feel talking to all the NPCs. I think this is quite literally what happens when you die. Your headset, your computer says to you, well done, you've been on that ride 75 years, what do you want to do next? Select a new world and you can choose any point in time and history, or in the future.
One thing that is fascinating is that all of the patients who go through this tell us that there is one thing that comes up to them as the most important feature in their life in these reviews. They say that it doesn't have anything to do with earthly success. No one asks them about their financial well-being or how much power they've had or any of these other things that our society suggests that we should be paying so much attention to. Every single person has told me that what they were faced with there was the question of how they had learned to love and whether they had put this love into practice in their lives.
Near-death experiences are quite interesting things to look at. And what he's basically saying there is that when you leave this video game, you don't look at how much money you made at the side of the screen. You don't look at all the possessions that you've accrued. What you leave with is the experience of having loved someone else and been loved, and the impression that that leaves on you after you've left that body or avatar. And if you want to find out more about the simulation, watch this video next.